And the libero situation, something to watch here. Andrew, part of our starting lineup presented by NCH for the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. Anna Marzella and Chandler Swanson, the two liberos in this lineup.
A good group here for the Eagles. They've got Trebisius Chabo, Mahizi in there as well. Abby Tennisgetter, who was dynamic on Friday's match. She's the offensive big in the middle there that you're going to look for this Eagles team on the offensive side.
On the other side of the ball for Matt Stoles' Queens University Royals, Kelly DeShriver, the team leader in kills. She highlights this starting lineup. We are underway. Hannah Boer to serve right after DeShriver. And go to DeShriver with the swing. Rubicid Chabo with the dig in the back. Smith with a soft swing over the net. And Layson with the rip, but dug out by Boer. Swanson back row for Chabo over the roll on the roll shot. And Layson tries to keep it up, but will not. FGCU takes the first point of this contest.
I believe the Royals there end up going under that line, under the net, crossing over into Eagle territory there, and ends up being that soft roll shot for a backline attack to open the scoring.
Boer, the setter. Moving again here. Out to DeShriver, who lets it rip and lets it hit the floor.
Shriver led the way with 17 kills here for this Queens team on Friday to go along with 11 digs. She also had a double-double in that 5-set marathon they played against Stetson.
DeShriver, most kills on the team, most total attacks on the team as the serve sails long from the libero Tilly Collins.
And the Eagles mix up the serving rotation. Barbara Kohler is heading back now, but she was first in the rotation on Friday, and then they mix it up and have Boer go first in the service line here today.
Eagles 8-5 on the year, 3-0, a perfect record so far in conference play. Boer serving. Layson off the right side, dug out by Boer. Back row attack for Kohler goes long.
And we saw a lot of that from her on Friday, but she was able to keep it on the court there instead. But today, a little long on that first roll shot from the back line for her.
Double sub coming here for the Royals is making Kelly and Ellis Sargent into the contest for the first time here early in set number one. Kelly, the grad student from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, 59 sets played so far this season. Or now wide to Grubisic, Chabo. And Chabo off the head of Mia McMillan in the back row.
And Chabo matched with Barbara Kohler in Friday's contest. 10 kills for her there on 20 total attacks, a .350 hitting percentage for the reigning Junior College Player of the Year, and a big offensive weapon there on the left side.
And Boer sets her up nicely with the set as well. Tennisgetter, the middle blocker, back to serve. After DeShriver again, and over the top of the block. And it's sent long off the back row from Kohler.
And from Shriver there, we've seen a couple of awkward serve receives to start things for Callie there. She had the initial one on the first serve that she didn't have a clean contact with, and then again they serve her here, and it was a little awkward coming off the hands.
Driver over to Kohler. Muhizi out of the middle. And what a sight of Erica Muhizi, who's come on as a freshman here this season. Looked really, really good in the early going.
And for Mahizi there, she wasn't much of a factor early in Friday, and then got her number called a lot more in the third set. But she's been really solid here for this Eagles team.
And double sub for Thais Baziketo, Allen's Eagles. Katharina Escorza and Liska Vikiskova, who will serve the lefty right after DeShriver again. Good pass this time. Out of the middle, Swanson will dig. Chabo with a swing. Back out wide to McMillan, down the line off the block. And Gleams hanging in here early.
And the grad transfer from Limestone there picks up the kill, turning line. And again, this is a Queens team that has surprised a lot of people with their play early in the year. And we talked with Matt Scholes about that earlier today. He said he's got that preseason rankings on his whiteboard in his office, but what he did with the team, he showed it to him, crumpled it up, and that's exactly the mindset they've had with it.
Easy out of the middle, off the top of the block and down. Could not be corralled by the Royals there as the ball falls in. So much of it is mental, Andrew. You know as well as everybody, just the impact of, some of those rankings early on in the season, playing a factor on what you think the ceiling of your team might be. Tough serve here for FGCU, free ball coming. It scores a Kiskova. Easy, 1, 2, 3, easy as that for Erica Muhizi.
And just 10 points into this match, Muhizi has more attacks than she did on Friday. She only had 2. She's got 3 of them here early and already picked up a pair of kills. So that was, again, part of the game plan. Late on Friday was getting her involved, and now she's a big factor early here today.
Chabo's serve just misses the far line. Gives the point right back to the Royals. Tyler Peluso and Elizabeth Layson come back into the contest with Peluso set to serve. Freshman from Winter Park, Florida. Off the top of the net. Kohler goes for the pancake, can't find it.
There's not much you can do there, using the equipment to your advantage, and you get the friendly roll. Force an early tie.
Peluso serving once again right after Kohler another time. Iskaba, Muhizi, and off of Peluso out of bounds. And that's a combination that's working here early for Thais Baziketo-Allen. Iskaba to Muhizi.
And Muhizi with 3 kills now early on, make it 4 now after she adds that one, and she's 4 for 4. 4 attacks, all of them end up finding the hardwood.
And Marzella, one of the liberos here set to serve in the pink uniform. And that's a service ace for Marzella, who lets out a yell towards the ceiling here at Alico Arena.
And talking with Coach Baziketo-Allen earlier today, talking about how aces are such a big momentum change for her team, and she does that where they're ahead by 1, they're trying to go on a little run here, and likes the aggressive serve she saw on Friday. All the aces they had came in big bunches then.
After the Shriver there. And a tip shot there dug out by Marzella. Tries to get out of the way for Vikiskova. Kohler with a swing, and Tilly Collins can't come up with it. There's a look at the head coach, Thais Baziketo-Allen, coming over from the junior college here in town, Florida Southwestern State.
A 3-time national champion each of the last 3 seasons. Spent a decade in the junior college ranks, and very decorated career before making the move here to the Division I level.
A serve from Marzella nowhere close into the middle of the net. And Matt Stoll is the head coach for the Royals with a little bit of a fist bump there, but Thais Baziketo-Allen, tons of success at the junior college level and rightfully getting her chance here in Division I. Iskaba scores off the block and down.
They've done a nice job tooling the blocks here early.
There is a look at Matt Stoll in his first season at the helm of the Queens University Royals. He was named the 5th coach in program history in April of this year after spending 5 seasons as an assistant at Southeast Missouri State University. Got these Royals off to a good start in the campaign. Forward to serve, handled nicely by DeShriver, who have a swing and finds the back of the court for a point. Callie DeShriver, the leader offensively here, showing you why.
And that's one where they gave her a lot of room to work. She's someone that when she's here on this left side up tight, you need to try to have that double block, and they're both a little late getting their tennis getter there when they set her up just inside the antenna.
Nice pass from Chabo off the tip for Kohler. Bump set from Collins out wide to Layson off the top of the block of tennis getter. Swing for Smith, she pushes. And wide out to DeShriver, dug out by Marzella. Overpass blocked by Kohler. Another chance for Layson, off the hands and down. And there again, the block just a touch late, getting up for the Eagles.
And they had a couple touches there. We're going to see it all here on replay. Barbara Kohler gets in. There's the last kill, though, or the last swing here that gets around the Eagle block.
Collins still serving. FGCU out in front by 1, and now make it 2. Barbara Kohler. Man, oh man, that's a pretty swing.
And she's the veteran leader on this team, the top returner here that they've had over from last year's group here. And really, she's been the engine that has driven this offense here in the season so far.
Strong familiarity with the head coach after playing for the junior college ranks. Forward to serve. Middle. Swing there for Emma Norris, 6'2" redshirt sophomore from Statesville. Same double sub coming here for the Royals, making Kelly and Ella Sargent.
A Queens team that's gotten a lot of pre-conference experience here in their first half of their season. 3 more matches played so far than FGCU this year, so that they're pretty well in sequence.
Tennis getter out of the middle, dug out nicely by Kelly fresh into this game. Roll shot over, kept alive by Smith. Chance for Chabo. And no can do for the defense for the Royals.
And Julia Grabicic-Chabo getting into the action here, just her 2nd kill and her 4th overall attack, but hadn't been too big of a factor early on now, and someone that you think will get back into the action here.
Erica Muizzi back in as well. She paces this Eagle team with 4 kills on 4 attacks. Dennis Getter to serve right after DeShriver again. Give and go. Push shot over the block. Muizzi out of the middle again, tries the push. Collins went for the bump set. DeShriver off the top of the hand of Muizzi, and Dennis Getter can't come up with it.
Yeah, a little scary there. Tilly Collins almost caught a forearm there. And then she says when she comes back into the huddle, we got to talk, and almost got a shiner there on the pass to set up that point for the Queens.
Queens trailing by 1, 12-11. Tough serve. Marcella has to go all the way back out of the court. Free ball coming. Muizzi has to bump over. Litany of options, and that time they go to Norris again.
And on that play, as that develops, Anna Marzella is so far off the court. She passes back towards the middle of the court. The Eagles have to get that.
FGCU, we are in an early dogfight between the Queens University Royals and the Eagles. 12-12 here early in set number 1.
And both teams attacking at over 400% right now. 421 for the Queens and 471 for the Eagles.
And right out of the break, a service ace for Callie DeShriver.
It's the second ace for Queens, but the point it's getting at there is that both teams are siding out at a really efficient rate so far.
That was something that Thais Bazuquecho-Allen talked about in the pregame.
Both teams hitting over 400, but both teams siding out right at 70%, 69% for Queens, 72 for FGCU. So that explains the tie when they're going back and forth like that, and they're both being very effective on the offensive end.
Eagles right around 80% in set number 1 on Friday night's sweep over West Georgia. Iskaba to serve right after DeShriver, and there's another service ace for the Eagles.
Good to trade some aces here, talking about the momentum swings that those are. The other team gets one, go ahead, get one back on your own right.
And that is the team leader in service aces, Aliska Iskaba, now with 19 on the year. Tries it again, this time DeShriver makes the adjustment. Out wide a swing, and off of Chandler Swanson's hands, out of bounds for Ellis Sargent.
We've seen that a couple of times now where they'll challenge the liberos on that right line, turning line here for the Royals. You get the libero kind of in no man's land, and they end up having that right around head high, but not enough time to react.
A redshirt sophomore Emma Norris serving. Handled nicely there by Chabo. Free ball coming for the Royals. Litany of options. They go off the block and reset off of the antenna. And let's wait to see a ruling here.
I believe the Eagle block is what pushed that off the antenna, although it's looking like, both teams have somebody back with the ball ready to serve. Ends up being the Royals. Eagles toss theirs away, but I think they were equally curious on who that ended up going off the antenna from.
Just reset here. Tied at 14. Set number 1. They're serving this time after Kohler. East of a long set. He scores and kept alive by DeShriver somehow, some way. Swing off of the hands of DeShriver from Grubicic, Chabo, and down.
A couple of excellent defensive efforts there from Callie. She keeps the point going, and then, of course, you dive, you pop back up, and next thing you know, the ball's coming right back at your forehead again 2 seconds later. So a tough turnaround time for her there.
Not a place I'd want to be, that's for sure. Chaba now to serve fresh off the kill. Right after DeShriver again, and McMillan tucks it inside the block. And it was there for Escorza and Muizzi, but McMillan just able to stuff that inside the hands of the Eagles.
Two blockers up there, just gets in front of both of them. Didn't press quite hard enough there.
Peluso with another tough serve out to Kohler, who tips it down. That is a pretty attack from Barbara Kohler.
Yeah, left hand set was way too far off on the left shoulder, so she goes ahead and pulls a trick there out of the bag to pick up a lefty kill.
And that's the experience of Barbara Kohler. A graduate student has seen pretty much every ball that could come her way. And Marzella to serve, right after DeShriver again. This time a swing for McMillan, and the block wasn't there from Escorza and Dennis Getter, and that is too easy for Mia McMillan. Season high 14 kills in that reverse sweep over Stetson. And a tough serve there from McMillan. She gets a kill and then gets a service ace, and it's 17-16 Royals.
One where you've just got to get back in sequence if you're the Eagles here. Get a side out, get the ball back, force another tie.
And another tough serve. It scores it with a chance and down.
Quick like that, 1, 2, 3, get it back. You're tied up at 17. Got a slew of ties here in this first one. Probably pushing double digits as far as tie scores go. No one's been able to run away. And this is what we saw with the Eagles on Friday. They got to the midpoint of each of the sets, and then they went on a 5 or 6 point run and put it out of reach from West Georgia.
You see Hannah Boer there set to serve. And go to Layson on the right side. Dug out nicely by Boer. Tough set for Kohler. Just has to spin it over the net. Another chance for Layson. Blocked and kept alive. Shriver over the top of the block and down off the hand. Callie DeShriver looks every bit of the part of the team leader in kills. Now to 5 on the afternoon. He's hitting at 556, 5 kills on 9 attacks. And way behind the service line, Collins sails it long, and we're tied at 18.
And this is a juncture in the first set where you can't have those service errors. Both teams serving aggressively, and it's generally been paying off here, but yeah, costly service error here late.
Matt Stoll's trying to encourage his Queens team. Kohler to serve. Right after McMillan, Layson off the right side, dug out by Kohler. Tough bump from Swanson, just a free ball coming. Lots of options. They go to DeShriver off the hands of Smith. And on the back line, it is 19-18 Queens.
And this Eagles team has the size advantage, but DeShriver, the 5'10 junior, is finding her way over the block, and over the block as she just continues to kind of rinse and repeat there off this left side here with those attacks.
And just 5'10" for Callie DeShriver. All right, there's a reason she leads the team in kills.
Oh, she's getting off the ground, strong vertical. She's high pointing all of these attacks where she's maximizing the chance to get over the block in her set.
Yellow tight to that for Boer. Tennis getter with nobody home. And that is a big sigh of relief for the Eagles.
Yeah, Abby Tennisgetter, 50 kills on the season coming into today's match. And she's someone where if you leave her uncontested up by the net, there's almost no chance for your defenders. You're not going to find a way to dig her. And she's just going to be able to find that hardwood out there and get another kill with that really just no one up in her face. And that's what you need, is you need someone up at the net against her.
The Tennisgetter now serving after DeShriver once again. And a tough set, but somehow and some way Emma Norris finds hardwood.
And that's an awkward palm ball. Totally mishit it. No picture on the scorecard. No velocity on the attack. So she still gets the kill and the point, but that's a mishit that ends up dropping in front there in between the Eagles because they've got everyone where they want to be, and you can't account for that where you kind of palm it, it sticks, and ends up just dying around the 10-foot line instead.
I have to check on Yulia Grubasic-Chabo. I don't know if she maybe caught one off the nose there on the ricochet, but eyes watering just a touch. They go after Chabo. Boer for Muhizi, blocked, kept alive by Boer. And now free ball coming for the Royals. Out of the middle they go to Norris, and that one is just wide. That is a huge break for FGCU.
And it's a rare attacking error for what we've seen so far. First error or attacking error at all here for Queens. They've had 50% on the attacks, but they haven't had an attacking error yet. 14 kills in 28 attempts, and the Eagles being able to put something up defensively. FGCU only has one attacking error in their own right.
It's been super clean so far. High level volleyball here in the A-Sun. Iskova to serve. McMillan with the chance. Dug out overpass though from Swanson, blocked by Muhizi. Kept alive. Sargent with the swing. Tough to the net. Ikiskova, Swanson somehow keep it up. And a dump set down. And that is a heads-up play from the graduate student Megan Kelly.
There's a couple of great things defensively on that play for the Eagles. A great save by Swanson. Muhizi up there with the solo block early in the point.
See the opening and take it. And Grace Sparks to serve, tight to the net, and Kohler underneath. And now a 3-point margin for the Royals.
running out of room right now if you're FGCU in set one. You have to play flawless volleyball here.
Well, we're having a tough time passing right now, but it scores up. Arrows are out.
Yeah, that was a do-or-die point, Patterson. You had to side out. You didn't want it to end up being set point down by 4, the other way. So that's a big swing here to get it back, and now you're, 2-point run away from the top.
Yulia Grubasic-Chabo at the service line. Tough float serve. Chance off the hands and down for Ella Sargent. And now set point for the Royals. Double sub again, Tyler Peluso and Elizabeth Layson. Peluso to serve. 11 service aces so far on the year for Peluso. Chance for Kohler, and Kohler is wide, and the Eagles drop set number 1, 25-21. Queens University, and they really look.
457 hitting percentage for Queens, 17 kills to 1 attack error, 15 and then 3 for FGCU, who hit 414. So close enough in those categories, but that ends up being the difference in the 4-point margin in the first set.
Yeah, normally you hit over 400, you're certainly not disappointed, but I'm sure for Thais Baziketo-Allen and her Eagles, that's maybe a little bit of that feeling. Second set underway, and Smith pushes over the block, and that's the start that the Eagles need here to set the tone.
Ava Smith, just the 1 kill in the first set on only 3 attacks, so she wasn't overly involved in the offense early.
Barbara Kohler pitches 125 in set number 1. Eagles need her to get going offensively. McMillan with a swing, and a point to the Royals.
The Eagles got in the net on the block there. Looked like they signaled for Smith that she was up there, and now Grubasic-Chabo's got a damp spot on the court to handle.
Here on the replay again.
The net was bouncing early. I think it was even before the attack came in that she got there. I think when we started coming back on that replay, the net already had some bounce to it, so I think she clipped it as she was shuffling over to get into position.
So back to serve for the Royals is Mia McMillan. And a tough serve, Marzella, for somehow out of the net. Overpass and a kill from Grubasic-Chabo. That is a totally out-of-system point, but the Eagles will take it.
And Hannah Bora there keeps the play alive. It's this one-arm stab to get it back up, and then tough overpass that's right at Grubasic-Chabo.
Cameron Teasley with that overpass. Didn't have to do anything to that ball. And accidentally sent it over. Tennisketter serving after McMillan. Layson on the near side, off the hands of the block. On set from Tennisketter. Tight to the net, joust at the net, and out of bounds. Grubasic-Chabo watches it as it fall.
And for the Eagles here, the Grubasic-Chabo, that's one where you're hoping that it's out, because you could take a stab at it, but you're probably not going to be able to make a playable pass for somebody. So you just turn and hope as you watch that one fall.
And Queens thought about the challenge there, AP, but Matt Stolzer said, let's just let that one go. Trying to let it go here, and swing for the driver, and her kill. The 7th of the day here early on in set number 2.
And Patterson, back to the non-existent blocks for a second. These are the 3rd and 2nd worst team in the league as far as they get blocked at a high rate. So you would expect with both these teams getting blocked a couple times per set that would start to be a factor here.
That's for Ava Smith. Roll shot into the back, kept alive by McMillan. The driver with the push. Borer bumps it up. Tight to net for Chabo, and she is blocked. There is a block on cue.
Not how I wanted to talk it into existence, but it does end up happening here. And for this Queens team, they've also held opponents to the lowest attack percentage in the A-Sun. So that's something where, the Eagles hitting over 400 against them in the first set. It's not something that the Royals have dealt with a lot.
Easy out of the middle, and she is so low blocked by Emma Norris. So back-to-back blocks after not having one in all of set number 1 and early here in set number 2.
Yeah, Emma Norris, she's the big blocker for this team. 2nd in the A-Sun in total blocks. She's got more than 60 of them now this season.
Continue to go after Kohler on serve receive. Chabo, pick up a point for the Eagles, a violation for Queens. The double sub oncoming here for FGCU. Giskova and Escorza into the contest for the first time here in the second set. Look at Ozzy Allen trying to coach up Ava Smith. Lefty serve for the Giskova. Shriver. That's one rip, and Kohler can't handle it. Callie DeShriver, man, she is so impressive here today. Now 8 for 13, a hitting percentage over 600.
And again, no attack errors. That's the big thing. They're keeping everything in the court. They're forcing the Eagles defense to make the stops and make the plays, and they just haven't been able to do that.
She appeared in just 11 sets her freshman year, and then 23 last season for DeShriver. She is leading this team so far. Rubicic Chabo right down and picks that one out of the air.
A big swing, and similar to the first set, I don't expect either team now to be able to run away with anything with what we've seen and how tight this has been, where, you know, there wasn't even more than a 2-point margin there in the first until we got to the closing stages.
Chabo to serve right off the kill. Chance out of the back row. Essentially a free ball coming. Giskova scores on the tip, and she finds room in the middle of that Royals defense.
And it looked like they might have almost been able to go on 2 there, and then by getting the third touch and extending the play, I think the Royals were looking for them to maybe go on 2. They end up being late on the block to get over, and, you know, good job to use all 3 touches and force the defense to have to think a little more.
I certainly thought that was going to be over on 2. The way that ball was and the way Giskova reacted, but set it off as well. There's a block, but out of bounds. So the Eagles finally get some hands up, send it back towards the Royals, but just off of the far line. Driver to serve. Giskova to Escorza and off the antenna. And the Eagles pick up a point at 7-6. Back and forth we continue to go. Very quietly here, Andrew. Katarina Escorza is having a nice day offensively. 5 kills on 6 attacks. Need to go back to that more. It's going to be over for Sargent. Hands for Escorza. She pushes it to the back corner. Overpass, free ball for Kohler. And she tucks it off the inside of the hands of the block and down. And there's a 2-point lead, which feels really big right now in this contest.
Yeah, just trying to get some room, get a little bit of breathing room. There was none of that in the first set for the Eagles, and, you know, if they can get ahead by 3 or 4 here, you can take a breath, but obviously got to keep that momentum going, keep the pressure on.
And Marzella to serve. Goes to the deep back corner, and a service ace for Marzella.
It's now 3 aces per side, and Marzella, nice job to float that one back. Difficult there with that.
Looking back here to Fort Myers. Thais Basakecho Allen has her Eagles in the right direction here in set number 2.
Yeah, a little 3-0 run right now for the Eagles to work to a lead here in the second set. You know, this one where you got to take this one. You don't want to end up being in a spot where you're down 2.
Marzella's still serving out of the timeout and off of the hands of Giskova for the Royals and Emma Norris.
They got caught in between there. She was falling down, trying to pop it up, and kind of fell back awkwardly as she got the hands up. She was never really in a good position to pop it up there, and just worked its way right in between them.
Norris with the kill, and now the chance to serve. After Kohler again, she'll get a chance on the swing, and Barbara Kohler, that is too easy one-on-one.
A lot of hang time there for Barbara Kohler to pick up her 5th kill, which surpasses the total she had last season in the matchup against Queens. She had 4 kills on 11 attacks, hit under 200 last year against these Royals in that ASUN quarterfinal matchup, and now surpasses that with her 5th kill here today.
And now 3 Eagles with 5 or more kills. Chabo leads away with 7. Off the near side, blocked by Tennisketter, and there is number 1 in the block department for FGCU.
And you can give an assist there to Barbara Kohler as well, kind of forcing them to try to go to the middle, which was right into Tennisketter's lap there. And we talked about how the Eagles need to get a block, They have the size advantage. They're a good enough blocking team, and finally you get one, and you hope that that allows them to fall in.
Oh, and a heck of a serve there from Hannah Boer. Nobody even gets a hand on it.
Another ace, that's 4 of them for the Eagles, and Borer just had that one. Really just dropped off the table there late.
5-point cushion for FGCU. Another way, there's a block. Swanson somehow pops it over. Out wide to McMillan, and Chabo kept alive by Smith. Free ball coming for Queens. Out of the middle for Tilly Collins, excuse me. That's Teasley rather. Down to the net. Kohler punches it down. And that is a point that could swing things here for FGCU.
A whole lot going on there defensively. You had Eagles flying left, right, up, and down, and Barbara Kohler ends up picking up her second kill in just a couple of points. And here on the joust late, you see as Smith nearly dives into the front row of the stands. That was close, and it ends up just being over, and a little late to get to the party there on the joust was Ellis Sargent there, and that gives Kohler the advantage there. She was in better position, able to be really aggressive there.
Oh, and this is a 6-point lead, Andrew, something we did not see in set number 1 for either side. A set 1 victory for Queens, 25-21, a 4-point lead. Now it's 6 here. FGCU needs to capitalize in set number 2 midway home.
And this is a game of adjustments, right? Because you're playing multiple games within the match, right? With how the sets work. So the Eagles clearly went in, made some adjustments after the first set where they just couldn't seem to go on any form of an extended run beyond just a point or two at a time. And here now they're able to go on. This has now turned into a 4-0 run. They had a 3-point run prior to Queens getting a point back on their side. And again, you see the adjustments that are being made. You see how they're getting more dynamic and aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. And defensively, they are all over the place. They're playing like they've got 8 people out on the court right now with the ground they're covering.
Matt Stoles, the head coach for Queens, in pregame talked about how great his team is at making those in-game adjustments, in-match adjustments. And so far, so good in terms of the set count, but down here in a 13-7 hole in set number 2. Hannah Borer will still serve here for the Eagles. Transfer from Texas Tech, and before that, Virginia Tech. And after the Shriver again, long run for Tilly Collins. McMillan soft over the block and off the block and down. Double sub again coming here for the Royals. Peluso and Layson. And Marzella down to dry off some of the court on the Eagles side of things. Second time we've seen that here in the early going in set 2.
Well, it's nice and cool in here, but by the time you're getting to the middle of the second set, everybody's going to leave a spot or two with all the diving defenders that we have right now.
Peluso serving the freshman. Or to Kohler, that is, and he hits it inside the hands of that block from McMillan and Teasley.
That was a really pretty back set there by the senior Hannah Borer, and tees it up there, and knew where she was, knew the location of the attacker behind her.
And Barbara Kohler getting going, now tied for the team lead with 7 kills, has picked it up. Hitting percentage up to .385 on the afternoon overall. Now wide to Layson, and she is roofed by Ava Smith and Abby Tennisketter.
And we've seen that where you get the 2 blockers up and it ends up being hit right into the laps of one of those blockers. Another look here from the net camera, and Ava Smith right up in there. Does a great job to penetrate and push over. She's well over the top there on the other side of the net.
And hands are angled straight down, that's the key. Forward to serve, tight to the net, another chance for Layson this time. He lets out a little bit of anger there right down the line.
Able to turn line. That outside blocker there in that situation is a touch late, and Layson goes for the same attack she had the point prior, but they were a little quicker in sequence this time to ambush the Eagles defensively.
Then after Kohler, overpass sent down from Teasley.
That's about as teed up as it can be.
And Kohler has had a tough time passing the ball here in this match so far. They continue to attack number 7 in blue.
And she's had about half of the serve receives for the Eagles.
And another chance for Teasley. Same pass and same result for the Eagles and the Royals.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row that are just as teed up as it can be, where you're essentially providing a pristine set for the player on the other side, and the rest of the defense is nowhere to go there.
Kohler with a good pass this time. Borer on the near side. Chabo is blocked, and Cameron Teasley is all over the place right now.
That's now a 4-point run here for Queens to jump back into this one, and the Eagles had their momentum going, and all of a sudden Teasley, one-man wrecking crew over there.
Chabo and Dennis Getter out of the middle. Transporter Shriver off the hands of the block. Forward tight to the net. This time for Chabo, one-on-one overpass. Chabo another swing. Kept alive by Dennis Getter. They'll try Smith this time. And McMillan keeps it up. Layson with the chance. Cross court, diving stab by Marzella. Chabo off the top of the net. And Collins keeps it up. Layson pushes to the back corner. And a Sketter tipped over the block. The driver with a turn. Kohler digs it. Marzella bump set. Too tight to the net. And guess who? Elizabeth Layson and Cameron Teasley. And timeout for the Eagles.
Now a 5-point run here for the Royals. Okay.
Right.
It seemed as though Rich Botzgetter Allen asked for a challenge. The ref came over, talked to all of us, seemed to indicate there was going to be a challenge. And now there's not.
Well, back to play here. Chabo with a swing. Overpass sent down by Dennis Getter. And there is a point to stop the bleeding for the Eagles.
That ends that 5-0 run for the Royals. Abby Tennisgetter again. Just as though where the Eagles have had these overpasses that have led to teed up shots for Queens, if you're going to tee somebody up on the other side for FGCU, you'd rather it be Abby Tennisgetter if you're an Eagle.
Well, not quite as clean here in set 2 as set number 1 was. Long run for the freshman Peluso. Blocked out of bounds though from the Eagles on the attack from the driver. Billy Collins, the junior, in the libero dark navy, sends a serve long. That's a mistake for Queens. A 3-point lead for the Eagles again.
And that's a good look from Barbara Kohler, who's been the primary serving target here for the Royals. And she sees that one back, checks her feet, realizes where she's at, and is able to let it fly past her.
Double sub comes in here is Forza and Nikiskova. Nikiskova will serve. Lefty after the Shriver. Chance on the near side for Layson. And blocked out of bounds by Muhizi and Rubicic Chabo. So a better job here from FGCU of getting those blocks up, getting those hands up, and getting contact, just not able to redirect quite as like they should.
The Eagles, though, siding out at a better clip than the first set, 66% in set 1, 75 here in the second. And on the other side for Queens, they dropped from 74 to 41%, so they have certainly struggled to side out here after doing so at a really strong rate in the first.
Megan Kelly serving as Marzella really tough. Rubicic Chabo just has to send over a free ball. Out of the middle, tucked inside of the block of Muhizi. And there is Emma Norris.
It's a low set, quick attack. Muhizi's up there by herself, and she's able to get a forearm on it, but not able to send it back over. Ends up putting it right down by her own feet.
Just a 1-point lead for FGCU here. And the serve is long. That is a big break for the Eagles.
There's been a couple gifts here recently with trying to serve deep on that back line and serving long. And I get the need to serve aggressively, but when you're only a point or two off, you got to keep it in the court.
So Chabo, a good serve. Tight the net, tipped over. Swanson keeps it alive. He scores it with a chance off the block. Couple of free swings there, and Johnson sends it over. Out of the middle, Norris is blocked by Muhizi. Chance this time again, Muhizi with the block. They'll try DeShriver, and DeShriver goes long. And the Eagles, that is a scramble to pick up a point and a 3-point lead.
That was great defensive effort to get the ball back over, and then Erica Muhizi up in the middle of a couple of blocks forces the Royals to have to try to attack, and they're not able to get around her the third time. They try to avoid her altogether, but miss long.
And Muhizi, again there in the middle on the block. They'll try DeShriver off the block. Swanson, Rubicic Chabo over, and Rubicic Chabo tried it. But Callie DeShriver has a kill.
And she even gets a touch on that, rolling on the ground from the prior attack. To the fact that she was able even to get a hand on it, although she doesn't direct it anywhere for a teammate, but still just, you're in the roll, you're trying to pop back up, and the next thing you know, they're picking on the man-down mentality where, hey, you know, the defender laying on their back probably is not going to have the best opportunity to give a good pass.
You know, in life, Andrew, you don't kick a man while you're down. You don't kick anybody while they're down. In volleyball, though, and in most sports, you take advantage of those opportunities.
Oh, you made a nice diving effort or two. Congratulations. Here's the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe you're back up to your feet. In this case, probably not. Still a really good showing, though.
Callie DeSchrijver is serving. Iskova, back row attack for Chabo, and Chabo with the cut. This is wide.
Didn't look off by too much from back here.
Marzella can handle the serve from DeSchrijver, and we are tied at 19.
Yeah, Anna Marzella there just got caught in between. Not sure if she initially thought it was going to stick on her where we were at with that serve, and just didn't get her feet in the right position there. She's off balance with how she's set up, and that's why she shoots it over towards the front row of the stands.
Another delay in the action here to dry the court.
It's been a little lopsided on that. There hasn't been a lot of wet spots on the court on the other side. And Matt Stoles just asked, did anyone actually hit the ground on that play for that wet spot?
It's Muhizi, kept alive by Kelly. Free ball coming. It scores Iskova, Kohler, and DeSchrijver alive. Wide for McMillan. Iskova gets a touch. A chance for a swing from Kohler off the top of the block. Collins keeps it alive. And Norris out of the middle with the kill. And Queens has a lead here in set number 2 after trailing by as much as 8.
Third lead change here in the second.
Driver still serving, tough for Swanson. Kohler off the hands of the block of the Queens Royals. And Barbara Kohler with a big point and a big kill.
And when in doubt, go to your veteran, go to your number 1 on offense to try and get that tie.
20-20 here in set 2 in this exact same spot in set number 1. And having to drive the floor again here.
Same spot.
Yeah, you don't know if there's any gamesmanship to this. Trying to stop a run here. Momentum, at least later in this set, on the side of the Royals. And that's, I think, kind of the issue that Matt Stoles had. Marzella to serve. McMillan on serve receive. A block there off the swing from Sargent. And tennis getter puts it on the hardwood.
Yeah, they go quick in sequence there. Low set. Try to go quick around Tennis Getter, but up there by herself, Abby Tennis Getter, more than enough there to make that block.
Tennis Getter, 6'3" junior. Had 10 kills in a victory over James Madison earlier this year. Dump there from the setter Kelly. Tennis Getter pops it over. McMillan on a tough set. Kohler down to the floor. It scores it tight to the net on the jousted down. Katharina Escorza. She is driving the bus right now for FGCU. Her 6th kill of the day. And the hitting percentage through the moon.
Escorza had no business winning that joust. It was a 2-on-1. She was awkwardly out of position from where the set was and just able to push it through, and good determination there at the end of the play.
Marzella again a service. Hey, thought it went up. Thought it was down, thought it was up, and then it was down again.
They nearly had the kick saved.
So now, 2 points for the set for the Eagles. Marzella again after McMillan. McMillan from that 10-foot line. Marzella makes an adjustment off the block. Tennis Getter out of the middle. And Abby Tennis Getter finds the hardwood. And the Eagles now here just a point away in set 2.
And they send the blockers over to the right side, which leaves Tennis Getter wide open in the middle again. So the wings up from the crowd, looking for set point here in the second.
5-0 run for FGCU. They finish it off, and they will. Anna Marzella serves it out for the Eagles. They take set number 2, 25-20. And we are tied here at a set apiece in the ASUN Conference matchup between the Queens University Royals and the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles.
Now for the Eagles, their nice 6-0 run
here through 2 sets, so it's been really tightly contested and a really strong match from both sides thus far.
And we ended up getting some blocks in the second set. 3 blocks per side, each team with 1 solo block and a few block assists on each side as well. So after neither team had a presence at the net in set 1, both teams made some good adjustments there and were able to, hold their ground up there at the net.
Thais Bazi-Keto-Allen talking with Mel Trinidad about the first set struggle. 17 kills for Queens there in set number 1, just 15 in set 2. Off and running here in set number 3. It's usually an awkward attack first time going. Kohler off the top of the block. Layson tries to keep it up but can't. Sticks it into the net and now on to the hardwood floor as the Eagles take the first point here in set 3.
And Barbara Kohler picks up her 9th kill now to pace the way for the Eagles squad.
Kohler with some tough sledding early in this match, but she has really gotten going offensively. Give and go for DeShriver. Ava Smith tries to keep it up and does, but just barely wide. This is our 20th tie of the afternoon. 1-1 on the scoreboard and 1-1 in terms of sets 1. Collins to serve. Wide for Kohler. And there's an attack air for Barbara Kohler. She didn't even get it over the net.
And it ends up off the bottom of the tape.
A little bit of a miss hit there from Kohler. Not used to seeing such a thing. Marzella in the middle on serve receive. Jump set for Smith and Ava Smith. That's a nice pretty swing from number 14 in blue.
And Smith picks up her 3rd now. 3 kills and 7 attacks. Healthy ratio for her.
And we're going to have a stoppage for a wet spot. Go figure.
Well, this time it's the Royals who haven't had too many issues, although they're on the side of the court where the Eagles seem to have a lot of issues last set. Just a short delay here. It's an FGCU team, though. They've won 5 of their last 6. They've won 3 in a row overall, and they've won 4 in a row here at home. So they're trying to keep those good vibes rolling here in this first week of conference.
Trying to make it 6 of 7. Bring out of the middle for Norris. Nobody home for the Eagles on the block. Double sub coming for Queen. Megan Kelly and Ella Sargent re-enter. Kelly to serve. 5'6" grad student. Borer to Rubicic Chabo. Kept alive by Kelly. Sargent with a swing off the side of the block and out of bounds. As Queens, a 4-2 lead here early in set number 3.
And for the Royals, it's been a tight rotation. They've only had 3 players come off the bench. Anna Grace Sparks also off the bench, but we've seen Kelly and Sargent come in as a pair in most of these rotational switches.
Tough serve after Kohler there. Chance for Chabo, and she goes through the middle of that Royal block.
The Eagles, in their own right, have only used 2 players off the bench. So really, and we've seen this with FGCU where they're able to have a deep bench with a lot of depth that they can go to. And with how tight these sets have been, they just haven't really gotten those opportunities to expand the floor today.
Tennisketter serving for FGCU. Just sneaks it over then, a service ace for Abby Tennisketter.
First ace for Tennisketter, 7th here for the Eagles. Another look at it on replay, and just down in front of DeShriver, who's been the main target they picked on from the service line.
And DeShriver's giving it back to him plenty. 12 kills leads everybody. Chance for her here, but she's blocked by Muhizi, straight down off the hands of Erica Muhizi.
Ava Smith there as well for the block assist, and you see that with DeShriver where they'll often pick on the top offensive weapon on the serve receive because they're trying to have that player be overly involved in things that don't involve them attacking the ball and trying to get points where, okay, you're trying to burn some energy, you're trying to keep them in motion.
For McMillan this time, they go inside to Norris. Nice job on a one-hand stab. Back row attack for Barbara Kohler, and that's too easy for the grad student Barbara Kohler.
Yeah, Kohler there. Again, you see the hang time. We've seen it a couple of times here today. Another look at it where Barbara was just able to get up there. Only one blocker up there, and Emma Norris, and a whole lot of room from that 10-foot line to work around that singular block.
4-0 run here for FGCU. Let's get her at the service line still. Chance for Sargent, dug out, overpass though. Oh, easy at the net. Cross court swing from Norris. Chabo put in a tough spot. Easy. Bump set Kohler. Chabo is long. And the Eagles asking for a touch.
Yeah, and earlier in that play, there were two Royals who attacked the ball at the same time. They both swung. I'm not even sure which one of the two ended up hitting it. Well, that was a interesting little jump there.
Shriver to serve. Tight to net. Ava Smith with the hammer.
4 kills, 8 attempts for Ava Smith.
That's the 13th assist of the day for Hannah Boer. Aliska Nikiskova, 17. You see it here from Boer and Muhizi one-on-one. That's too easy. Excuse me, that's Smith rather. That's for Sargent, just a roll shot, the only option. Chabo off the top of the block and finds the floor.
That gives her 9 on the day, but hitting under or now over 200 with that last attack. Barbara Kohler at 10, so the Eagles about to have 2 in double digits.
You see there the total kill numbers. FGCU 36, Queens 35. Kiskova, a tough serve up tight to McMillan. Rolled over by Norris. Out wide to Grubicic. Chabo dug nicely by Collins. Back row attack for DeShriver, and that is a rare attack error for Callie DeShriver, just her 3rd of the afternoon, and gives a point to the Eagles.
And DeShriver now, she's had double-digit kills in 4 straight matches, had a season-high 17 against Stetson on Friday. But she's now had 10-plus kills in 10 matches now this season here for her.
Fairly impressive considering they've played 17 total. So over half the time, Callie DeShriver has double-digit kills. Certainly looking every bit of that part here today. Collins handles the serve nicely. McMillan with a big swing in the block, just a touch late for the Eagles.
And McMillan also coming off the season high with her 14 kills against Stetson on Friday. And 6 so far now.
And McMillan, the transfer from Limestone. So with 194 digs coming into this match, good for 2nd on the team. It's a Chabo on the near side, and the driver can't handle the hammer from Chabo.
Yeah, it's now 10 kills for Julia Grubicic-Chabo, who now has done that 11 out of her 14 matches this year, and that's 6 matches in a row where she's had double-digit kills.
This is Chabo to serve. McMillan one-on-one with Esforza, and McMillan wins the battle this time. Same double sub coming for the Royals. Peluso and Layson will enter. Continue to have issues with the floor here today. Take another look here at the swing from McMillan. One-on-one with Escorza.
Yeah, just out of the reach of Chandler Swanson, the Fort Myers native and Boston College transfer.
Russo serving. Iskova and Kohler. Man, Barbara Kohler has come alive here after set number 1.
Yeah, Kohler 5th in the ASUN in kills per set, averages about 3 1/4. And she's got double-digit kills in 12 of 14 matches this season now. Chasing the way with 11.
11 kills and 11 digs for Kohler. Marzella serving right after DeShriver again. Near side, McMillan down the line, and Mia McMillan with the kill.
And she's had a few really good swings here in this third set, closing in on double digits herself now. That gives her 8 kills in 15 attempts.
And Skorza and Tennisketter were there, shaded towards the middle. Did not cover the line. Giskova to Tennisketter, quick and easy. Abby Tennisketter with the kill.
And she's been economical as always up at the net, hitting over 500 now, picking up her 4th.
Double sub again here for Baziketo Allen's Eagles. Hannah Borer comes on to serve. Ava Smith rather back into the game. Try to give and go again to the Shriver. Swanson with the dig. Kohler off speed. Out wide to Layson. And off the hands of Kohler and Tennisketter on the block. Down out of bounds. Olivero, Tilly Collins now set to serve. Time they attack. Rubenson Chavo down for the set, but Ava Smith sails that ball long. Nice shot from Hannah Boer to get that in a spot where Smith could work with it. But Smith in attacking air. Chavo the overpass. The Shriver with a chance. Norris couldn't put it away. Punch there from Kohler. Trying to reset. Norris out of the middle, and Anna Marzella got a hand on it. Couldn't keep it close. And Thais Baziketo Allen will call timeout. Welcome back here to this ASUN contest between the Queens Royals and the FGCU Eagles. 12-11 our score here in set number 3. The Eagles up by just 1. Borer to Tennisketter, and the adjustment not able to be made from Tyler Peluso. Went early on the dive, and Abby Tennisketter her 5th kill of the afternoon. Point margin for the Eagles, tied at a set apiece. Harper Kohler serving. And the serve goes long. It hits the C in FGCU. And now just back down to a 1-point lead for the Eagles. Any double sub here. Kelly and Sargent enter.
It's now the 3rd service error for the Eagles. First for Barbara Kohler here. 4 on the other side for the Royals. Serve from Kelly. Overpassed by Kohler. And not going to miss on that one. Emma Norris. And Norris now closing in on double-digit kills in her own right.
Had a lot of court to work with, but just found the line. Off the tape, Kohler adjusts nicely. Ava Smith with the swing. And off the hands of Megan Kelly.
And Smith now 5 for 10 on the day. And at this point in the afternoon, Patterson, are we surprised we're midway through here and it's a 1-point difference on the scoreboard?
I'm shocked. I am utterly shocked that this is close here in set 3.
Just as it was in set 1 and set 2 and the 20-some-odd ties we've had.
And speaking of 20-some-odd ties, here we go. 14 apiece after the service error from Abby Tennisketter. Driver serving Chavo. And Chavo lets it rip. Chavo, nice job to handle the serve and then handle the kill. Puts it away on the give and go.
That's 25 attacks on the day for her. You know, just one behind Schreier for the match lead, so she's gotten a lot of reps here.
The team's still hitting north of 350. McMillan with a swing into the net. Swanson can't handle it. Mahuzi tried to keep it alive, but McMillan picks it up.
It's one where you have an opportunity to make the play off the net because of how aggressive the pass into the net was. That's going to come off a couple of feet, and Mahuzi just a step behind being able to keep that point alive.
Emma Norris sails the serve long. Gotten a little bit touch and go here in terms of the service department. A couple of errors in the last 5 or so points for the Eagles, and now they're a mistake from Queens. It's Chabot serving McMillan, tight to the net. McMillan has a chance on it, and easy with a diving save. Kohler cross court, dug out by Collins on the split. McMillan pushes deep corner. Iskova, and the tip from Barbara Kohler. And the off-speed works instead of the fastball.
Yeah, Barbara Kohler there, she's been letting it rip all afternoon, but just goes with that short roll shot, maybe 8 feet off the net there to drop that one in.
And timeout called by Matt Stoles after the heads-up play from Barbara Kohler.
As she has the short roll, the shot before, and then she's able to pull it right towards the middle of the court and let it fly on that one.
And Camila Soto into the game for the first time here this afternoon out of that timeout. And blocked by Muhizi, and Soto fresh into this contest. We've got the FGCU Eagles soccer team just across the way over at Pickering Field, just across the parking lot. They're up 6-0 over North Florida. Oh, excuse me.
It'd make a lot of sense there just to give you a fresh set of legs that, you know, have a lot of offensive ability.
Chabot back at the service line again. McMillan off the top of the net and over. Kept alive by Marzella. Free ball coming. Layson has to dive. McMillan with a swing off the hands of Soto. Kept alive. Kohler with a chance. And under the net for the Royals. Big point picked up by FGCU. It's 20-15.
The Eagles on a 5-0 run now.
Tied at 15 just moments ago. Now FGCU with some breathing room. Right after the Shriver again. McMillan near side. Not sure if there was a touch there.
Didn't look like it.
McMillan sends over the free ball. Easy out of the middle, off the top of the block to Shriver. Mason from the 10-foot line. There's a nice dig from Marzella. Kohler off the top of the block, and Collins keeps it alive. McMillan with the tip. Collins right up. Easily over. Marzella trying to reset. Barbara Kohler. And Barbara Kohler continues to do it all. She puts it away.
Yeah, I think that touch coming off the Eagle block was certainly going to land out of bounds, and the Royals gave him a break there by playing it midway through that rally. And yeah, to your point earlier there, Patterson, I don't think there was a touch. I think that one Royal attack just spun off the top of the tape, and they got 7 tries on that one, or 7 touches.
Out of middle for Teasley. He stuffs it inside. That block attempt from Muhizi and Kohler. Peluso serving after Kohler. Near side for Soto, and Camila Soto fresh into this game. Thais Fazaketo-Allen with both hands to the sky. Likes to see that from 13 and blue.
And she's come in and instantly become a factor here.
Take another look at it here. Just around the block attempt from Queens. Marzella serving on that near side. Float serve, handled nicely by DeShriver. Out of the middle for Layson, but she is blocked by Tennisketter and Kohler. Eagles with all the momentum right now here late in set 3.
And for Abby Tennisketter, that's her 4th block of the afternoon.
Tennisketter, long arms, long frame. Doesn't have to get up all too high off the ground. Makes it look easy. Short serve. The Shriver lunges at it. Easily off the tape. Iskova with options. Goes to the back row. And Chabot asking for a touch. She'll receive it. Set point for FGCU.
The Eagles now on an 8-1 run here to try and close out this set.
24-16. Plenty of points to work with, but Marzella trying to end it here after her counterpart Collins. Layson near side, blocked out of bounds by Soto and Tennisketter. Queens will save 1 set point. And Grace Sparks on the serve, the 5'11 junior from Mobile, Alabama.
And for this Queens team in their 5-set reverse sweep against Stetson, a lot of culture and grit there, according to the head coach. They fought off multiple match and set points throughout that one.
Soto with a chance off the top of the block and out of bounds. Camila Soto comes in late here in set number 3 and puts it away for FGCU. They take the third set. And
In the first set, which was a good start to the day, but they did fall off in that second set, which is the one that they had first won, and then end up jumping all the way north of 500. And they held Queens to a sub 300 hitting percentage in each of the last 2 sets, and the Royals only hit 222 in that third.
And most lopsided sets so far. Off and running here in set 4. Tennis Getter pushes over the block, kept it alive, free ball for FGCU. For Tennis Getter, dug out by DeSchreiber. Near side for Layson, and the dig from Grubisic Chabo. Set from Marzella. Resetting. And a point for the Eagles. Barbara Kohler on the ground, just laughing.
Now Royals tangled up in the net there.
FGCU takes yet another lead. This time just a 1-0 margin over Queens. Kohler, a short serve. Out of the middle for Norris, tight to the arms of Marzella, but Grubisic Chabo off the side of the block, and Julia Grubisic Chabo now with 13 kills on 27 attacks. Queens with 113 total attacks to FGCU's 99, but Eagles have the advantage. Or with options. Here's to Smith, and Ava Smith makes an adjustment. That's a pretty play from Ava Smith.
And Ava Smith gets up and she pauses for a second once she's up there to kind of get the blockers already on their way back down. And then instead of taking a full-on swing, she just kind of pushes and directs the ball to tool it off the block late.
Barbara Kohler again still serving. Grubisic Chabo off the head. Kohler tries to keep it alive. Marzella. Chabo, and she's just short. Grubisic Chabo was in the bench area. Thais Bazaketo Allen had to get out of the way rather quickly. But a heck of a defensive effort here from Kohler, Marzella, and then Chabo just couldn't get enough on it.
And just runs out of steam.
Or near side to Grubisic Chabo. And Julia Grubisic Chabo with 14 kills. Count them up. The lead for the Eagles in set 4. Tennis Getter serving. Right after DeSchreiber. They do the give and go once more. And finding the line is Callie DeSchreiber. Feels like the first time we've said her name in a while. Kill number 13 on the afternoon.
And for Chabo, though, closing in on the season high of 16, which she did just under a month ago against South Dakota.
Emma Norris serving for the Royals. Or quickly up for Ayanna Battle into this game. Down step to net and off the right elbow of Julia Grubisic Chabo.
First time that we're seeing a Battle, the senior from Ohio. Yeah, both Barbara Kohler, though, and Grubisic Chabo are just 2 kills off matching their respective season highs.
Or to Smith. Nice job from Marzella to keep it alive. Chabo again resets off the block. Or this time to Battle in the middle. And Ayanna Battle puts it away. Her first kill of the afternoon.
Get into the game and get involved right away.
Now, speaking of kills, Andrew had a nice kill to keep that ball from our faces here on the scorer's table.
Hopped right over our replay TV and right into the right hand, back onto the court.
So Batiskova and Camila Soto into this 4th set. Batiskova serving. Now with 20 service aces on the year. Jump set from Peluso. Soto with a swing and blocked out of bounds. Camilo Soto is making an impact in this match, albeit very, very short amount of time on the court.
I think that's what you're getting here from this Basquetto Allen right now, is that she's going to these depth pieces late, and again, like we were saying last set, you're getting fresh legs and fresh energy onto the court.
Right to the body of the Shriver, and she is able to tuck that inside. Ayanna Battle thought she had a block, and instead that ball comes down on the FGC side of the net. And the double sub coming. Kelly and Sargent. Kelly to serve. Go on serve receive. Giskova battle out of the middle, and Ayanna Battle with a couple of quick kills here in set 4.
And 2 kills in 3 tries for her. Into the action and being economical on the offensive side.
Julia Grubasic-Chabo with the serve and into the net. Couldn't quite clear the tape. The Shriver at the service line. Giskova, battle. Dug out by Collins. Battle up with the block, and Ayanna Battle. A little celebration there. She has provided some much needed energy here in set number 4 for FGCU.
Yeah, picks up a couple of kills, gets a solo block there to wrap it up as she rotates back out with Abby Tennisgetter. That's a nice spark to get thrown into the mix.
Thais Basquetto-Allen pushing all the right buttons right now. The team with a 3-point lead. Now wide for McMillan. Chabo with the dig. Solar off the touch of the block. Sargent with a chance, but stuffed by Tennisgetter. Kept alive. Another turn. Goes cross court for Soto. Marzella bump set. Back row attack for Chabo. He finds the back line, and Julia Grubasic-Chabo now just a kill away from tying her season high up to 15 on the day.
And as this match has gone on here, Patterson, we've talked about the size mismatch here, and the Eagles now, as they've gotten deeper into this match, you're seeing that size play more of a factor up at the net, where they're just getting touch after touch with the block and forcing the Royals to have to try multiple attacks in every sequence.
So serves McMillan this time. Teasley out of the middle, an awkward set. Tennisgetter one-on-one, and Cameron Teasley wins it this time, the 5'10" sophomore against the 6'3" junior.
And Teasley picks up her 3rd block now of the match.
Collins will serve Grubasic-Chabo. Soto off the block, popped up and kept alive, but Kohler can't send it over the net. And the 2-point lead for the Eagles.
Yeah, diving efforts from Grubasic-Chabo and Kohler. Each of them get a touch on it, but you know, at that point you have to go over it with your Kohler on when you're Kohler on that 3rd touch, and really just an unorthodox, tough play to try and make.
It's like a hinge point here in set number 4. Eagles with some lead, and Abby Tennisgetter says, "No scoring run here."
Again, when they go quick to Tennisgetter in the middle, that's when she has a lot of success. There's just less opportunity to try and get anyone to block her, and you really do need a 2-person block for Abby Tennisgetter. And again, she's left uncontested.
Borer and Smith back in. Borer serving. Off the top of the tape. Nice adjustment from McMillan. Sargent with a swing and blocked by Tennisgetter and Kohler. Out of bounds off the hands of the Queens Royals. Four-point margin. Into the middle for Norris. Nice stab from Borer, the setter. Bump set from Marzella. Long roll shot from Smith. Tried to find the corner but cannot. And double sub for the Royals. We've seen all day Peluso and Layson. See, Smith tried to place there, but just a touch wide. Tennisgetter out of the middle, and she is blocked by Norris and Layson. And Queens draws within 2.
It's a good adjustment there on the front line for the Royals to have a different MO there with Abby Tennisgetter coming up to the net.
Or side to Smith. Smith pops it up after McMillan sends it over. Kohler off the hands of the block. McMillan to Boer, who's in the right place. Ava Smith off the tape. Far side for Layson, and Layson is long.
And Hannah Boer there with a huge dig in the middle of that set. Just ends up with the kind of kung fu move with the 2 hands up there to pop it up. It's one where you get that bullet coming right at your torso. You don't really have a chance to give it a proper pass, but you're just trying to shoot it up there.
And we're going to get a challenge here
To do that.
St. Tennisgetter on the touch at the net there.
I believe she was the one in the middle. And yeah, Abby's saying, I don't think I touched that.
She puts her hands up. And so it's 11-10 right now after that successful challenge from Matt Scholes and his Royals.
I'm surprised that there was enough there to overturn that. Versus the call that you get on the court initially, and they might have had a different angle where they could see, the hand there, Tennisgetter a little better than what we looked at.
And nonetheless, we reset. Barbara Kohler with a swing off the top of the block. Set in the middle, push shot from Norris, and crafty play from Emma Norris to find some daylight. And so there's that hinge point. It could have been 12-10. 12-9 rather, and it's 11-11 after that challenge and point 1. Kohler off speed, popped up by McMillan, free ball for the Eagles. For Kohler, and that is a match made in heaven for FGCU. "17 kills for Barbara Kohler. She is 1 away from her season high.
And she's done that twice, though, so she's looking for 19 today. Try to set a new one. A rotation issue here with the Royals.
Matt Scholes is adamant that they're not out of rotation.
You got to play it up. Well, the refs have done the double thumbs up to play it up, and as that was an officiating mistake there instead.
Matt Scholes clearly frustrated. Norris out of the middle, 1-on-1 with Tennisgetter. Has a chance here again. Kept alive by Kohler. Brings it Chabo into the net. And tied at 12.
And I don't even think there's a block there. I think she just hit that off the tape altogether.
Tracking air number 6 on the day for Chabo. 281 hitting percentage. Knotted up in set 4. For Ava Smith, and Ava Smith lets it rip. One-point advantage for FGCU. Tennisgetter at the service line. Tough low serve. Norris off the top of the block, one hand stab from Boer. Here we see Chabo off speed and off speed, making it work. Julia Grubicic Chabo ties her season high with 16 kills here today.
That's pretty middle where that ends up, just beyond the 10-foot line, middle of the court, and a bunch of Royals around it, but nobody within reach.
Tennisgetter after the Shriver. Give and go once more. Dug out by Kohler. Boer. Grubicic Chabo. Inside attack for Layson. Into the net. The battle tries to keep it up. And 4 touches as Chabo had to get it over and could not. trailing by 1. Marzella bump set. Far side for Chabo. And Yulia Grubasic-Chabo with a new career high of 17 kills here today.
And before this season's all said and done, she'll have a couple of 20-kill matches, but good to hear her get up to the edge of the afternoon. Just $1.74 for the Royals, $2.19 for the Eagles here. A little over halfway home in the 4th.
Giskova serving to continue to go after the Shriver. Tight to the net and over on the set. There from Tyler Peluso. And why might that be, Andrew? Why might be those offensive numbers down?
I just think the defenses are finding some solutions. I think everyone might be trying to be a little bit too perfect with where these shots are going, and a few more attacking errors than what we've seen in the prior sets.
Giskova line drive served handled nicely by McMillan. Leeson off the hands of the block, and a Marzella tried but couldn't find it. Sub again, Kelly and Sargent on to replace Peluso and Leeson.
And the big thing is they've kept the Shriver out of sequence here as this match has gone on. She got to double digits quick, and then she was at 12 kills kind of early. She's only at 14, so she hasn't really added on yet.
Giskova on a punch shot for Chabo. Diving, keep it alive for Collins. This time Chabo cross court. And Yulia Grubasic-Chabo leading the way with 18 kills.
So that matches her with Barbara Kohler's season high, which would be the most that an Eagles player has had this season. So when she gets to 19 here, then that's a new high for anyone on the roster. Then again, Kohler's at 17, so they could go back and forth here and try to get the first 20-kill match of the season.
Chabo serving. Shriver, not a great pass. Has a chance here and stuffed it inside the block. Kill number 15 for Callie D. Shriver. She has commanded this offense. Is ultra impressive here today and continue to go back to the well. Need to continue to find a Shriver. Kohler with a tip. Up by Teason. Millen a roll shot. Marzella dumping set to Soto down the line, dug by Collins, and a swing into the net from McMillan and down.
That's a crisp handset there from Anna Marzella.
Making it look easy.
Yeah, little jump on the set too. Clearly someone that's been a setter at some point or another in her life.
Yeah. Serving after that nice set. Her counterpart Collins. McMillan blocked, and in the net, Soto or Tennisketter.
I believe they pick up Soto on that one.
Frustration there for the Eagles. Collins over to Kohler. Giskova with options. She chooses Soto. Might have gone long. McMillan is blocked. Kick save tried. But down off the back of the court. Shriver tried to run it down. And the Eagles out in front by 3. Double sub once again. And Smith re-enter. And Soto and Giskova will find some time on the bench. In the middle for Norris. And Norris just long. Nice job defensively for FGCU. With some good eyes. As Matt Scholes will call a timeout. 20 to at the service line for FGCU. 4-point advantage. McMillan into the net. And that is an attacking error and a costly one for the Queens Royals.
And that's one where you're on the bottom half of the net too. That's not a small miss. That's one where you're not forcing the defense to have to do anything on the other side.
Or again to serve. Awkward for Sargent. Kept alive. Marzella all the way across the court for Smith. Collins is there though. Back row attack for the Shriver. Marzella bump set. Kohler a big swing and she is blocked. Barbara Kohler with a chance. But instead, Queens picks up a point. sub of Peluso and Layson back on. A couple of freshmen in those two. Peluso will serve. Marzella tries to run it down. And it's over our heads here as the lead dwindles to 3.
And this is what you were hoping for the Royals coming out of the timeout. You're able to close the gap a little bit. And for the Eagles, to say you're a point or two away from having that comfortable margin that you want back.
Chabo handles. Kohler into the block. And she is blocked by Norris and Layson. Timeout, Eagles. Tyler Peluso still serving out of the timeout. Right to the body of Chabo. Smith. Maybe saved. And that one into the antenna. Callie DeSchreiber. Maybe a little gift there for FGCU.
Ava Smith picks up kill number 9 on the match.
Now Barbara Kohler serving for the Eagles. So the set to Layson, or with the dig. Back row just sent over from Kohler, no options. McMillan off speed. No problem for Boer. Off from Rubicic Chabo. A wacky point continues. Rubicic Chabo this time with a full speed swing off the hands of Layson and down.
Slows it down and turns the dial back up there for the full speed rip.
Eagles a couple of points away. Trying to close this conference match out and move to 4-0 on the year. Driver, bad pass off the server seat. Somehow a chance for Norris, but it goes long. And now match point. And Matt Scholes will call timeout. Trying to get his Queens team back into this contest, but they're going to have to fight and fight and fight. Signs from Bazuketo Allen ahead of match point. After the Schreiber once more. Out of the middle for Norris. For Marzella. Grubicic Chabo with the kill. And Yulia Grubicic Chabo with a perfect 20 kills on the afternoon. Puts this match away for the Eagles. 25-19. Although I think we're going to have a challenge here. Take a look at it here on replay, Andrew.
And take another peek here, and
that is close.
Might catch the outside of the line, or it's a touch out.
Hey, you got those challenges. This is the time to use them. It is 24-20, but still match point for FGCU. Rubicic Chabo has kill number 20 wiped off the board. Tight to the net. Boer Chabo off the block. Marzella. Kohler out of the back row. The Schreiber off the hand. Kohler can't find it. And Queens still staying alive. They've now fought off back-to-back match points.
And that's what they were able to do against Stetson on Friday, was extend the match.
No one serving. Or to Smith. Dug out by McMillan. Schreiber. Easy for Marzella. Smith trying to end it, but cannot. Queens fights off another match point, and Thais Bazuketo Allen will call timeout at 24-22. But I have to imagine the psyche of thinking this one was over and having to go and continue to play is wearing on the Eagles right now.
Yeah, you get the adrenaline rush of, okay, the match is over, we won, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got to quickly get those endorphins going back again, where you kind of empty the tank with, all right, it's over, we celebrate, and then, you know, you're able to see that the Royals here are taking advantage of this extra opportunity and closing the gap here once more.
How impressive has this team been today for Queens? This is a scrappy team, a team that does not quit, and they're showing you here in set 4 why that's the case and why their head coach Matt Scholes has been so impressed with the fight that they put forth here early on in conference play.
And you see that there. First-year head coach inheriting a program that's not expected to do a heck of a lot this year, and it tells you a lot about his character and what they've done in the locker room. And same deal with the new first-year head coach here for the Eagles with the success they've had earlier on.
Oh, Yulia Grubicic Chavo lost an earring. Sitting on the floor right under the net.
Would not be fun to roll on accidentally.
No. All right, here we go again. Mia McMillan still at the service line. And the serve goes long. And there the Eagles will take this match 25-22 here in set number 4. So all that fight here late from the Royals in this fourth and deciding set is for naught after the serve goes long from McMillan.
It ends up being the closest set of the match. We had 25-21 in the start and then end up 25-22 here in the fourth. So the Eagles now pick up their 5th straight win here at home and continue to do good things here on the court and continue their hot stretch that they've been playing over the last few weeks.
A perfect 4-0 here in the A-Sun Conference. Are the FGC Eagles. They improved to 9-5 overall. Queens will fall to 11-6 and 2-2 in conference. Yulia Grubicic Chavo led the way with 19 kills. Thought